Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 16 of the Herbally Inspired Holiday Challenge. I'm getting a lot better at saying that now that I've said it 16 times or more. So, welcome everyone to tonight's program. Tonight, our plant of the day is calendula. And oh, do I love calendula! So, I wanted to share with you all the wonderful things about calendula, and the kind of subtitle of the show is Calendula for Self Care. And self care is what calendula is very, very good at, or just care in general. It's a very healing and very nourishing plant. And it's also an edible herb. So it's like nettle that we talked about yesterday. But calendula is a beautiful, if you're not familiar with it, this is some calendula from my garden. It's traditionally is orange petals, but they've developed all different kinds of varieties with yellow, and there's some kind of like reddish ones and even white ones, maybe little pinkish ones over the years, for more decorative use. But calendula is one of, in my opinion, the essential type of herbs to grow in your garden. And um, it has so many different things that it does. It's mostly known for helping to heal wounds and for putting on topically on the skin. And every year I always make a calendula infused oil that I make into a calendula salve. If you're not familiar with what a salve is, it's basically an oil that has some sort of herb infused in it, and then has a usually beeswax. It's the most awesome thing. Usually beeswax added to it to make it thick, so it's more like a lip balm type of a consistency. And then because it's thicker, it can go onto your skin, and of course, beeswax is also very good for you as long as you're not allergic to bees. Every year, I always make an infused oil. You have to dry the flower down a little bit before you put it into the oil, but we're not going to get into the whole oil making thing in this program here. And it's also very good for clearing out your lymph system, like especially if you've been sick and you still got kind of gunk in there. Not only can you take it internally in a tea, but you could just even rub some of that salve, or you can even buy the commercial cream. This is like a homeopathic calendula cream. You can just rub that on your lymph glands, and it's well known as a lymphatic helper of sorts. And it also has a bunch of other things it does. It's good for mucous membranes. It's very soothing and healing. And apparently, it's also good for just helping to move your period. If you are a woman who has problems with sort of like even flow and have other sorts of uterine or menstrual issues, calendula can be very helpful for that, and was used sort of historically in Europe as a kind of like an immune tonic. And I think that's probably has to do with its effect on the lymph system, keeping the lymph moving so that stuff doesn't get stuck in there. Helps just reduce the pus on any kinds of actual cuts or wounds or anything like that. So calendula is just a wonderful plant. It's very soothing and very healing. But before I go any farther, I want to share the card with you today, which is from the Plant Spirit Oracle deck. And the words, I wrote them down separately so I can show you the beautiful picture while I read it. It said, so both in flower essence and like homeopathic, energetically, calendula is all about better communication. And so it says here, our thoughts and words have great creative power, both positive and negative, for ourselves and others. Calendula helps soothe your thoughts and words with warmth and compassion and understanding, so that there is a balance between assertiveness and receptiveness in communication with others. That beautiful drawing on there. And I've used calendula flower essence a fair amount for me. What I say is it kind of creates this sort of almost like a layer of protection around you if you think about like the Michelin Man. So it helps you just have a little bit of extra bounce so that when words are coming towards you, they just kind of bounce off a little bit easier. You don't take them so personally, and it helps you to soften your words for others as well. So that's basically the way that I've used that as a flower essence. Now, today, what I want to talk you into, if you have never done this before, is I want to talk about self-care through using a facial steam. And so years ago, I learned this. I don't even know where I learned it from, but there is a wonderful way to give yourself your own facial. And there's a bunch of different steps you can do in this, but I'm just going to talk today about the facial steam. Now, the facial steam is simply taking a bowl. You're going to make your bowl just like we did with the tea blend. You're going to add in the things that you want to do a facial steam. So calendula is always one that I use. I got a big jar of it here. I also always use my rose petals. I usually use lavender, but some people I have found are allergic to lavender. So you really have to be careful with that. And then another great one for a facial steam is, of course, rosemary. Another good one is a little bit on the astringent side, so it still helps to just really kind of cleanse the pores. And so what you're going to do is simply just mix those all together in a bowl, similar to how I showed you with the tea blends that we did yesterday. And then you boil a big pot of water and you get a nice comfy chair. You get yourself a big towel, just like a bath towel, and you simply put the herbs into the boiling water. You set the pot of boiling water, and then you just like you would if you were sick, with like a eucalyptus steam or whatever. And you're going to put the towel over your head and you're going to allow your face to steam with all of these healing herbs. And it helps to open the pores. It helps just to cleanse. And it's just such a treat for yourself. So you force yourself to sit down, you force yourself to steam, and then you can, when you're done steaming, you can put on a face mask, you can use the steam water, pour it into a tub and use a foot soak. There's all different kinds of stages that you can use if you want to do like a full-on spa party, but I don't have time to get into all that today. So that is what I'm going to recommend that you do for yourself, either now or sometime in the next month. Get yourself some calendula, maybe some rose petals and other things that you like. I've used heather before. I've thrown in nettles you can put in as well, because they've got that nice nourishing effect. And just make yourself a little steam blend. This is also a wonderful gift to give. Again, like you could get your jars here. You're going to get a jar of chai blend, a jar of your herbal tea blend, a jar of your facial steam blend, and you can give that as a gift to somebody. Make sure you write the directions on which is which. Don't be steaming your face with your herbal chai blend. Although, who knows, it's probably beneficial. So the last thing that I wanted to say about calendula was I wanted to share with you this really cool program. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Deb Soule, who is an herbalist. She's in Maine. Can't remember if I talked about her yet in this program or not. This is her latest book, The Healing Garden. And she's just this most beautiful soul who just cares so much about the plant. She grows a biodynamic garden. Her company is called Avena Botanicals. And so if you're looking to buy some, tinctures and different products like that, I highly recommend her stuff. It's just the nicest quality ever. But anyway, I always say to people, if you're just going to grow one herb for yourself, you should grow calendula. And then I found out that years ago, Deb was working with, she worked in like a domestic violence hotline, and she got really interested in helping women heal from domestic violence. And so I guess there was this project in Africa, and just, she decided, what can I do? What can I do to help women that are victims of this? And she decided that the best thing she could possibly do was to grow an extra big bed of calendula, create salves, or even just the calendula flowers themselves, and distribute those out to places that help women who have been raped or abused or are recovering in any kind of a way. And what she says is that calendula is a remarkable herb for healing wounds and traumatized tissue, and for filling the body and spirit with vitality and light. Used as an oil or salve, it heals all kinds of wounds, soothes and heals inflamed or infected vaginal tissue, and lessens scarring. So she initiated this project called helpgrowaro.org. It's kind of her brainchild, and as far as I can tell, it's still an active program. I mean, she just published this book, and she talks about it in that book there. So helpgrowaro.org. I will put that link down. So if you are so inclined to grow some calendula and to make a small but substantial difference in your local area, this is something wonderful that you could do. Now, one of the most wonderful things about growing calendula is because the seeds for calendula, they look like little petrified seed shells, or they're so bizarre. You would never think this was a seed. And these were grown by my friend Yulia, who has been on some of these, been watching some of these. And so my suggestion to you is grow just one plant this summer. If you're not going to grow a whole garden, get some calendula, grow a bunch for yourself, grow a bunch and make some salve, and then donate that to a local organization that's helping women in this, who are recovering from these situations. It's just such a gentle healing. Not only is it a gentle healing herb, but it's a gentle healing act that you could do for another person who needs you. I'll put the link on below, and you can check out her program. I think it's pretty basic. She's just like grow and give it away. So that's the kind of thing that herbalists do. They help their communities, and they give back to their communities. That's pretty much all I wanted to say about calendula tonight. Have a wonderful night, everyone. And be sure to, when you're doing your seed orders this year, order some calendula seed. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.